Sonar, as fish finders became common in the last 20 years, put it in some type of a float, the transducer in a float, and drop this over the bridge rail, let it float on the surface, see what the depth is. Pretty simple technology. This one was actually designed to make it convenient for the inspector. It came in a bag that was easy to carry, has a small gel cell battery. Because remember, this is a fish finder that you might buy to put on your boat. It's pulling power off the boat, so you have to provide the battery. So this one has a small 2 amp hour gel cell battery, just glued to the usual mounting bracket, dash mounting bracket. Another iteration on that was one that we bought that was designed for ice fishermen. You can buy this from your local marine supplier, from any of the marine catalog companies. Simply had a couple batteries in here in a nice little case with a mount for the sonar on the surface here. Same concept though, it's a portable scour monitoring instrument. Whenever you deploy a transducer in the water, one of the things you have to be worried about is how well is this float going to act. And this was pretty small. This was convenient. It's small to transport. It's good for small bridges, but if you get to a bridge with a lot of wake, a lot of turbulence, waves, this thing's going to be going all over the place. It's a little bit too small, a little bit too light. You could fabricate something as simple as this, which is a PVC pontoon float. You can make it much larger than this. They work pretty well. Transducer would mount in the back end of it here, drop this over the bridge, and let it float in the water. Another next step up would be to take a water ski knee board, put the sounder, the transducer in the water ski knee board, and with typically a rope to tether it with. These are light enough, these two, that you can typically use the transducer cable as the tether. As you get to a larger and larger flotation, you have to go to some other method, and usually just a rope would do it. The complication there is that you've got to manage both the rope and the transducer wire. So really, it sounds simple, but it takes 2 to 3 people to take the measurement. And as you take the measurement, of course, you're going to have this. You're going to be reading it, and you're going to have to say, okay, I'm at Pier 3, and it looks like the maximum depth as this thing's floating around is about 18 feet. And write it down in a field book. There's no automation of it. It's just purely the measurement technology. Those are the primary methods of portable measurement. You can take any of the same technology. We've been talking about working off the bridge deck. You could do the same thing out of a boat, and a lot of inspectors will do that. They'll put a boat in the water. You want to be careful about putting a boat in the water at flood flow for obvious reasons. It can get pretty turbulent around a pier, but if it's quiet enough that you can get the boat in under there and take a measurement, that's certainly acceptable too. So deployment from the bridge deck, deployment from a boat, using physical probing based on lead line or some type of rod, or back to the traditional sonar approach with some way of suspending the transducer out in the water. Pretty common technology amongst bridge inspectors, pretty easy to do. It does require that you take, and that's what portable equipment's about. You take the measurement, you go to the next bridge. There's no way to automate this. There's no way for it to be happening in the middle of the night without you getting up and going with it, right? So that was the trade-off between portable and fixed. But for a low-cost, simple approach, any one of these